Hey everybody! Today's topic is sexual disorders. Now, the first thing some might think of are sexually transmitted diseases or other biological issues. But we're not teaching a high school sex ed class. We're tackling the taboo around sex and explaining what a sexual disorder is and how they can affect your life. Let's be real, talking about sexual health can be uncomfortable, but it's crucial to address it head on. We're all adults here. Just like any other aspect of our health, sexual health plays a vital role in our overall well-being. By understanding these disorders, we can break down stigmas and encourage open conversations about sexual health. So let's talk about a few of the rare sexual disorders to arm you with a little more knowledge to care for yourself. Our first disorder might sound familiar to some: hypoactive sexual desire, or HSDD for short. Now, we all go through periods where we might not be as interested in sex, and that's completely normal. Life gets in the way, stress happens, you're tired, it's all part of being human. But HSDD is a little different. It's about having a persistently low interest in sex, and I mean really low, to the point where it's causing distress and affecting your relationships. It's not just a temporary dip, it's an ongoing issue. What causes it? Well, it can be a combination of things. Sometimes it's biological, like a hormonal imbalance. Other times it's situational, relationship problems, stress at work, you name it. The important thing is that if you're experiencing this, you don't have to suffer in silence. Talk to a healthcare professional. They can help you figure out what's going on and discuss possible treatments, which might include therapy or medication. Now, this next one is quite rare and affects those who produce semen. It's called post-orgasmic illness syndrome, or POIs. Imagine this. You've just had an orgasm, and instead of feeling pleasure and relaxation, you're suddenly hit with flu-like symptoms. We're talking fever, muscle aches, fatigue, even a stuffy nose. Sounds awful, right? And it can last for several days. It's like your body is having an allergic reaction to its own semen. Unfortunately, there's no cure for POIs yet, but there are ways to manage the symptoms. Some men find that cleaning the area thoroughly after sex helps, while others might need medication to manage the immune response. Again, communication is key here. Talk to your doctor if you suspect you might have POIs. They can help rule out other conditions and work with you to find the best way to manage your symptoms. Chapter 3. Sexual aversion disorder. This one's in the same family as HSDD, but takes things a step further. We're talking about sexual aversion disorder. Here, it's not just a low sex drive, but a genuine fear or aversion to any form of sexual contact. Imagine feeling anxious, disgusted, or even panicky at the thought of sex. That's what people with sexual aversion disorder go through. It's not a choice. It's a real condition that can stem from past traumas, relationship issues, or even underlying mental health conditions like anxiety or depression. Because it shares similarities with HSDD, the treatments often overlap. Therapy can be incredibly beneficial in addressing the root causes of the aversion, helping individuals work through their anxieties and develop healthier relationships with sex and intimacy. Chapter 4. Coital sphagia. You know how they say some things are so good it hurts? Well, for people with coital sphagia, that phrase takes on a whole new meaning. Imagine this. You're reaching the peak of sexual pleasure, about to have an orgasm, and suddenly, bam, a splitting migraine hits you like a ton of bricks. That's coital sphagia. It's like your brain's way of saying, whoa, too much excitement. It turns out that the surge of oxytocin released during orgasm can cause blood vessels in the brain to constrict, leading to a sudden and intense headache. The good news is that coital sphagia can often be treated with regular migraine medication. In some cases, lifestyle changes like regular exercise can also help reduce the frequency and severity of these headaches. Chapter 5. Retrograde ejaculation. Last but not least, let's talk about retrograde ejaculation. Now, this one might sound a bit strange, but it's not as scary as it sounds. Basically, instead of your semen ejaculating out of the penis, it goes backward into the bladder. You might be thinking, what? How is that even possible? Well, it all comes down to a muscle called the bladder neck sphincter. During ejaculation, this muscle usually closes off the entrance to the bladder, but in retrograde ejaculation, it doesn't quite do its job. The good news is that retrograde ejaculation isn't typically harmful. It doesn't affect your ability to enjoy sex or have an orgasm. If you are trying to conceive, though, this could make things difficult. But hey, if you're not trying to conceive, then it's no big deal. If you're concerned about retrograde ejaculation, it's always a good idea to consult with a doctor. They can help determine the underlying cause and discuss any potential treatment options if necessary. Outro knowledge is sexy. Sex is a wonderful thing. It would do all of us a heap of good to know a little more about it, if for nothing else, to recognize when our health is compromised. We only covered a few rare sexual disorders today, and there are many more out there. The more we understand about sexual health, the better equipped we'll be to take care of ourselves and our partners. Remember, there's no shame in talking about these things, and knowledge is power. Bottom line, if you've got questions, medical professionals have many answers, so reach out and get to know more about this excellent aspect of life. We think you'd be super sexy if you touched our like button, by the way, just saying.